Alright, so we've been hunting out for really special garage houses because we know you guys really appreciate seeing well-curated car spaces with equally cool cars inside. And today we have something very, very special. Every car you will see in the following garages, because there's actually two of them, are turbocharged and four-wheel drive. And it does not get more special than this. And for you guys that always say I don't show enough Subarus, please take a look at this. And it doesn't end there. There is a second garage space here with four more extremely special Subaru Imprezas.
GC8 回と申します。一応これが僕のスバルコレクションになります。はい。
Alright, so we are just gonna literally break down every car that we see in here. This is as special as it gets. Guys, there are 3 22B's in this garage and something equally special back there. So I'm just gonna go inside and start drooling over this incredible selection of cars. But before we do that, let's just take this in because you just don't see stuff like that so often. 3 22B's。
22B3 台持った理由は、一応98年当時に22B が出るのは知ってたんですけども、仕事を起業したばかりでお金もなく購入することもできなかったんで、仕事が軌道に乗って2013年に初めて1台目を手に入れたんですけど、1台目がちょっとオリジナルの状態じゃない車体だったんで、オリジナルのものが欲しいなと言って探してたら、立て続けに2台出てきて、その当時は今みたいな値段じゃなかったんで、安いものは本当180万円とかそれぐらいの値段で売ってた時代だったんで、だから2台同時に出てきたんで、とりあえずは
じゃあわかるね。
買ってみました。
そうですね。Alright, so I'm just going to walk in, start looking at the very first car here, try and get my shadow out of the way. This is basically the modified version of the collection. So 22B tuned, as the owner would put it, and it sits on special magnesium YM wheels. We'll take a look at all the details later on. I just wanted to kind of slowly introduce you through the whole collection. There's another 2 completely stock 22Bs here. Gotta love the 2-door wide body. Look at those pumped fenders, so cool. And you know, it's really cool that we can actually nerd out on cars like this. You guys taking all the details. Like, I never really noticed that there was a little quick steering tuned by STI sticker, kind of hinting at the quick rack steering. All the details until we get to this very, very special 2024 GR Yaris. So you'll notice straight away that this is actually finished off in a matte silver. Has blue brake calipers and French flags on the wheels. That GR badge up front. Again, another French flag. We keep going along the side here, and it says Toyota Gazoo Racing. There is a dry carbon WRC style wing there on the hatch. Again, the Gazoo Racing wheels with the French flag. And the reason for that is because this is actually a Sebastian Ogier edition GR4. Only 100 of these cars were sold in Japan. Another 100 were sold globally. And there is also the equivalent version of the Rovampero edition, 100 for Japan and 100 for the rest of the world. So extremely rare and recently delivered. Like, you just cannot understand what a luxury it is in Japan to have so much space that you can beautifully stack all your little parts and boxes and even WRC lights. You got a few spare bumpers up here and all the necessary goodies to maintain these cars. Love the STI storage boxes there, a couple of BBS boxes. There are a lot of wheels around here. And you'll understand once we get to the next garage. And the cool thing is that the next garage is actually visible through the window here. So you can kind of see what is hiding like there. All right, so let's get out. It's a really bright morning here. And instantly we see another four-wheel drive Japanese super cool car. This is the Jimny Sierra. You can see it's the Sierra version because it comes with the over fenders and the 1.4 liter NA engine. The only NA car here. So there's an equivalent K-car version of the Jimny. So this has that turbo I was telling you about. And then we get into garage number 2.
やっぱり90年代のラリーシーンでWRC が好きでよく見てたんですよ。でグループ A の時は結構トヨタのセリカとかを見てたんですけど、97年にWR カー規定というものに規定が変わった時に、このワイドボディのインプレッサが出た時に、このかっこよさに衝撃を受けて、それからもう本当にこのインプレッサの GC8 のファンになってます。もともと2013年に 22B を手に入れて、で 22B のミーティングに出た時に、2014年に、トレンタさんっていう有名な方がいらっしゃるんですけど、その方が同じようなことをして98の WRC カーをナンバー取って公道仕様で参加されてて、で自分の 22B と見比べた時にもうフェンダーアーチの大きさですとかブリスターフェンダーの張り出し具合とかが全く違うので、みんなで何お前だけずるいことしてんのって話になって、で僕らも欲しいっていう風に形でそのトレンタさんにお願いして車を出たら声かけてくれっていうことで、もう界隈の人たちにみんな欲しかった人たちが声かけてもらって、みんなイギリスとかオランダから引っ張ってきてもらったという流れですね。もともとはドンガラでした、この車は。ドンガラでイタリアのプライベーターのプロカーさんというところがショーカーで使ってた、もともとクラッシュしてで廃棄じゃないですけど処分されるボディを買い取って修復してショーカーにしてた車を輸入してきて6年半かけて日本の車検を取りました。そうですね、6年半ですね。
And this is where things begin to get really, really special. What we have here is a 1998 WRC Impreza. This car was built by Prodrove back in the day. And yes, it actually has a number plate on it. So this is road registered in Japan. We can drive it. And you know what? We will actually take this out today. We're taking this out on the road and driving a 30-year-old, well actually not 30, well 25-year-old rally car. It's going to be insane. So before we go into all the details of each car, I'm just going to show you the rest of the collection here. There is a Series 1 Subaru Forester STI behind the WRC car. There is a narrow body 2-door Impreza STI. And then we have the only foreign car here, an Audi RS3. Right, so we've seen the cars that make this collection. Now it's time to kind of really dive deep in the details, starting with the WRC car. So the owner is kindly opening the hood to the WRC car. And check out the collection of keys that make up this collection. All right, so let's start looking at all the details. As you can see, this is pretty much very accurate to how the car was built. And talking to the owner, we found out that the actual engine is a stock EJ because, of course, to pass emissions and the shaken, they could not do it with the fully fledged forged EJ that the WRC car runs. So everything you see piping-wise and all the ancillaries, that is all off the original rally car. So you can see the top-mounted turbo here, still running the restrictor, fed by that carbon airbox. And then you have the front-mounted intercooler. Strangely enough, they didn't go for any crazy setup here. They just wanted to keep the piping as short as possible. The whole system is controlled by a Motec, which runs this electric throttle setup. You can see some of the Motec sensors around the engine bay. pedal box and all the fluids there, and the crazy piggyback tank for the rally suspension. You can see all the connectors for the ECU. It is absolutely crazy that this is something that can legally drive on the street.
エンジンはGDB の D 型のエンジンと、ミッションがちょっとミッショントンネルをしばきたくなかった関係でGC8 の5速の H パターンを入れてます。今ちょっと考えてるのが、どこか H パターンドグ、純正の5速ケースを使って入れれるドグミッションを今探しているような状況で、いずれはちょっとドグミッションに変えたいかなと。はい、ガス検とかそうですね、あと構造変更もこの車もともと右ハンドルのものを左ハンドルで取ったんで、いろいろとその辺の構造変更とかも苦労したというふうに聞いております。はい、GC8 のだから本当に98年から2000年のこの3年の世代の98、99、2000年の世代の GC に特化して好きなんで、そこの年式の車だけしか今持ってないような状況ですね。はい、今はリトナをベースにちょっとS6、2000年の WRC カーのレプリカを今制作しようとして、いろいろと、いやオートサロンにこの前出してたのが2000なんですけど、あれのレプリカを今グラベル仕様で作ろうとして、リトナを今いじってる最中です。はい、何年かかるかちょっと分かんないですけども。はい、
I had to come to the bottom of the other garage and take a look at all the wheels that the owners collected here. You can see the OZ Prodrove gravel wheels. There's another selection of, let's see if we can see the actual fronts. There you go. Get a glimpse of that. And then we have more magnesium wheels right down to, I'm not sure if you can see here. And here in the corner, there is a spare EJ22 from a 22B Impreza sitting casually. You can have a little glimpse of the back of the Subaru Forester STI. So yeah, this is a first generation. And as much as I like the 22B, I have to say the narrow body still looks damn sick. I love the two-door look on these cars. Just makes them look so purposeful, proper rally car look, especially here with the added STI mud flaps. So cool. You gotta have the pink bits, right? If you're into Subarus, right down to the seats. Let me polarize that out. There you go. All right, so it's time to take a look inside. And as you can see, it is fully fledged race car business in here. Carbon fiber doors that weigh absolutely nothing. There's even a little bit of a plate against the crossbar there on the roll cage. Prodrive seats. Beautifully laid out flocked dash. All carbon fiber. Absolutely incredible. Even the handbrake lever is carbon fiber. And as you can see, the rally car back in this kind of vintage, 1998, 1999, they were pretty simple. Like there was no crazy sequential shifter that came on the year 2000. There's no like massive vertical lever for the rear hydraulic side brake. It was just pretty simple, like almost like a road car. Let's go and take a look from the driver's side. Actually, the coolest thing, I just noticed there's an ETC machine here on the passenger footwell. That's for the highway tolls here in Japan, hinting that this car is indeed road registered. Since we're back here, let's take a look at the trunk area. You can see the quite compact fuel cell back there, all the fuel layout. You can see where you actually fill it up. So you have to open the trunk to have access to the fuel filler. And then the washer tank is back here. And I don't know if they were using water injection on these cars or if it's actually a washer tank. Let's go take a look at the interior from the driver's side. The sparkle steering wheel, all the switchgear laid nicely around the Prodrive display, which we'll take a look a little bit further on once we get the car out, and all the communication switchgear there, and the H pattern 5-speed. Okay, so the cool thing about the at least this vintage of WRC cars, 98, 99, they were actually built on the 1.5 liter NA Littner version of the Impreza, which was basically the most kind of like Spartan basic version of an Impreza. And Subaru sent the shells over to Prodrove in the UK, and they used the chassis from that to create these cars. But God, does it look so aggressive. Just love the pumped fenders. And you know, like I mentioned, back in this kind of era, race cars, rally cars are literally identical to the street-going versions. We'll see on the next garage with the 22B's. Like, the dimensions are right there. I mean, it's pretty much exactly the same car. Of course, they had to be homologated with special limited edition versions, like the 22B for the Imprezas. You can see the AP Racing calipers there, vintage calipers behind the Ogier Racing Prodrove wheels. With all the sponsors here from back in the day, including IHI turbos, which you can see right there next to the Bilstein dampers. Get all the blow-by catch tank over there. So simple in layout. See, the dimensions are pretty much there. Like the owner was kind of talking me through, you know, since the WR cars were hand built, there were some tolerances that were off purposely in some cases. So you'll find that the fenders will be like 10 to 20 millimeters wider, especially down here, to give more clearance. Let's take a look at these 22Bs, indulge in all the details and especially the similarities with the WR car. All right, so we opened up all 4 bonnets, and we're just gonna kind of indulge in seeing these very rare cars. Like I mentioned, this first one here with the clear indicators is actually a 1997 WR car replica looks-wise. As you can tell, it has a few little differences compared to the full stock 22B. First thing you notice, of course, is the orange indicators, the pink badge. This one's gone for black badge and clear indicators. The engine is completely stock, but the owner has actually fitted a GDB 6-speed transmission. So this is now running 6 gears. One thing I noticed, which is quite interesting for me, it is a bit nerdy, but you have to bear with me on this. So the GC8s actually didn't have a special like number or code for the 22Bs. That's actually on the model code here, which ends with an E2SD, so that means it's a 22B. And here is the third 22B. This again is a completely stock car. You can get a nice look at the engine layout out of the harsh light of the other 2 cars. Of course, these had the same red crackle finish as the STI models, but these are 200cc up on engine capacity. You can see the top mounted intercooler there, fed by the bonnet intake. So I actually found it quite interesting that these cars were never based on the Spec C version, the really lightweight, I think no air conditioning, had the roof scoop. It always seemed like that would have been the better version to kind of base an homologation special on, but yeah, they didn't. Right, and then we have this limited edition GR Yaris to look at. There's that G16E 3-cylinder turbo. Such a cool car that Toyota has created. These things have been so popular all around the world, and of course in the US with the Corolla. I do love the 3/4 look from the back of these cars. So aggressive, such a short wheelbase, so much fun to drive. Just look at that view The cool thing is, like I mentioned, you can actually sit in the entrance of the house and enjoy looking at your garages on each side, getting views like this. This is a dream setup, to say the least. And of course, there's even a 22B Owners Club of Japan, as this badge suggests. Another subtle difference that this 97 WR replica has over the stock 22B are the kind of more pronounced bonnet outlets here on each side. The center one remains the same for the intercooler, but these vents are a little bit bigger, more pronounced. So like you mentioned, the WR car in the other garage is actually left-hand drive. Of course, the 22Bs were only available in right-hand drive, made only for Japan. Beautifully kept. The condition inside here is absolutely amazing. And you can see the little dehumidifier box there, keeping moisture in check. I think that boost gauge there is an addition. But God, these cars are just so simple, so cool to see. And of course the 3 dials on top there are another extra part. And of course the factory center diff with this little knob there to control the torque split. See, I knew there was a water spray. So you can put the water spray for the intercooler on auto, or you can actuate it yourself with the little button there. And since we have 3 cars to look at, might as well pop the door open on this one too. And this is even more stock because there is no boost gauge and no 3 gauge dash setup. Of course, they all came with the STI seats as found on the regular STI models as well. And interesting enough, there's even an antenna here. So old school. Alright, let's take a look at this limited edition GR Yaris. This comes with the brand new interior layout for 2024, so it has that digital dash there and that rather square looking setup around the main center screen. Of course, manual, 6-speed, kind of upright driving position on these things. That would be the only thing that could do with some work, maybe a custom seat rail, custom seat to kind of lower the driving position, especially if you're taller. But wow, these cars are just so cool. I do love the new dash design. It looks very angular, but it kind of reminds me of a rally car, which is very fitting. All right, so you can see that this special edition comes with the Sebastian Ogier edition badge. So this is 75 out of the 200. So 100 for Japan, 100 for the world. And there's a lot of carbon fiber in here as well. Barely in here ね。すごいね。でもディスプレイかっこいいね。やばいこれ。Literally has the coolest display. We'll have to get some details. あ、いろいろなページあるね。
これだけ WRC レプリカ。
So yeah, the car runs a full Motec system, and they ended up adding a little screen in there for the main instrumentation to kind of replicate what Prodrove was running at the time. Little vents up here. I don't know if you guys can see this, but there's a little tube that collects moisture when the hatch is open. Very functional. might as well get a proper toy, right?
ね、見てる人はいるかもしれないですね。はい。
I still can't believe we're driving around normal roads with a rally car. WR rally. So much low torque. You can literally short shift every gear and you still have enough pace to get up to speed easily. So after that very memorable ride in the WR car, we're going to be taking out one of the 22B's and kind of compare where this crazy rally car spans from. I mean, these cars are so closely matched to their road-going versions that it's such a cool experience to be able to feel, you know, where it's all based on the same day. So we're going to take the 22B out now and enjoy the ride. All right, so we're actually going to take this tuned version for a ride. So as I mentioned before when we were going through the cars, and actually we can see it better now because the light has shifted over. So this is a slightly modified version of the 22B. So he's gone for a GDB 6-speed on this one. It's got a few little tweaks, air vents, clear indicator lights, the grill's a little bit different. So yeah, we're gonna take it out, have a little ride, and it'll be, yeah, I'm pretty sure, I don't think I've ever driven a 22B ever. So that's going to be another great experience for me after having ridden in a WR car. Bit of a naughty clutch sound there. And we'll ride. God, it's so fat. Look at that rear end, guys. Now that is where Subaru did things correctly. I don't know what's happened these days to Subarus, but they should definitely be doing more of this stuff. So we are in the 22B, and it's just as fast as the WR car. So this definitely runs a bit of extra boost, and like I mentioned, the 6-speeds, 6-speed from the GDB, and a very naughty sounding clutch. これパワーどのぐらいありますか？
これは多分普通にノーマルなんで、ほぼほぼ280馬力。
280. I think it's still normal. Okay. It feels very punchy, I have to say. So like I was saying, this is definitely my first time in a 22B. Never experienced one of these very rare cars, so bit of a treat today. You can really tell there's so much torque. It's very, very different from a regular EJ20. You can tell straight away. I really get it now. I really, really get it. じゃあトータル何台持ってるんですか？
GC10 台。
10台? So he owns 10 GC8s. So this car's only covered 50,000 kilometers. I'm just shocked. I don't know if you can make it out, but the plastics are just completely new looking. It's like it's a brand new car. I hope you enjoyed the video. It's always so much fun shooting car collections like these, especially in well-curated garage spaces or garage houses that we so often find in Japan. We're on the hunt for more of these type of collections in Japan and around the world. And if you really want to support us to help us get to these places, check out dinodc.co for the merch. We have hats, stickers, t-shirts and hoodies, and we've just added prints. So if you head on to the store, you can find cool shots like these from when we took the GTR out on its maiden voyage after much time in storage, and we immortalized it in front of Mount Fuji. So if you want to support, head over to dinodc.co and pick up some prints. Until the next video, make sure you check back soon for more.